guys, it is Martha. Welcome to Decoding the Process. We are glad to have you here again, and we are always happy to converse with you and of course begin to and continue with this journey, because it is a long journey. It is a process, just as the name suggests. And I'm glad to also have my fellow hosts who will also say something as we proceed.
Oh, thank you. Welcome, our viewers. We are doing well. We are so glad that you are following up in our programs, in our show, as we move on. As we say that we're here to simplify the relationship process. We want to take you through this journey. And as we work on the mistakes that were made by others, we don't want them repeated. And the mistakes that are still being made now, we want them rectified. And that is why we are here. We want to take you through this journey, and we shall not keep on messing up.
Yeah, we shan't.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. So today we are going to be discussing about something that is very common in so many relationships. We find that everyone starts and is hopeful, but there's always a reason why relationships do not get to the place where you desire them to be. Of course, we always want anything that involves us succeeds, from our financial plans, our educational plans, family plans, and of course that is started by the relationships. We always know when you're starting that relationship that it should succeed. But what causes relationships to actually fail at the end of the day? Mr. Prince, I think you can open us up with an introduction.
Well, relationships, every time a journey is started, everybody wants to get to their destination. But we have had young people starting a journey, but they don't get to the destination. And some of the things that make the young people not to get to the destination, somebody wants to, whenever you fall in love, you feel that I'm attracted to somebody, then you have started all over something with them. You want to get to a given place, but it is not always good. And that's why we want to address, why do these relationships fail? Why do people start a good relationship, with everything that you felt that, this is what I wanted in a person. This is the kind of a person that I wanted. Then you walk for it may be a few kilometers, a few miles. Then you feel that this is not what I wanted. What usually comes up, what usually, attends to put people down. And those are the people that we want to speak to. So that is what is that usually see in a person. Then after a while, you don't see it again. What is it that you expected from a person? Then after a given period of time, then it fades away. These are some of the things that we want to talk about. And what makes, in fact, what makes you to be an ex, or what made you to be made an ex? What did you expect? What did you do that was not expected in the relationship? Or what did you find? What did you see in that relationship that you felt that this is not what I expected? And then it did not reach where we wanted. So that's why we are saying that today we want to engage on why relationships fail. We got some, we're trying to get a number of issues, a number of experiences on why relationships fail, why people engage, start so well, they feel that this is what I wanted, but after a while it fails to work. So that is what we want to engage in and get into details.
Yes. So I want us to get into those details as soon as we can start. So I want to start with one foundational thing as we go into the specific internal and external factors that probably cause us, the internal forces that pull us apart, and the external forces that also pull us further apart, that comes from outside. But for me, I want to start with something that is very fundamental in relationships. The vision. One thing that people should understand is that a relationship is not started for any reasons apart from what is the relationship trying to achieve. If you don't have a vision for that relationship, there is no way that relationship will go any further, because anything can come and pull you apart. But when you know that the end result has to be gotten at a certain point, when you know why you got into that relationship, even when those tough times come, because they always come, you know why you need to keep fighting. But when they just come and you don't have a vision for that relationship, you're not prepared for what you really want in the long run, of course anything comes and shakes you, and soon enough you fall apart, because you had no clear outline of where you want to go, why you're in this relationship. And many people should understand that relationships should always have a place they are headed to, and most importantly, they should be geared towards ending into a settling commitment, that is marriage. If you start a relationship to just have fun, of course fun always dies, because energy, even if you decide to have fun, you can't have fun all day. The moment energy levels go down, you start realizing that is nothing more than anything apart from friendship, and we can't go on to a deeper relationship. So that is one of the most important aspects I want to bring on board as we now delve deeper into the internal and external aspects. So you can take up from there.
Okay. On vision, I would not wish to get so much into that, but what I basically got from you is that vision is very key in any kind of relationship. Actually, when you talk about the fun, that is, people are getting into relationships for fun. Any relationship that is not meant, that is not going to end up people getting settled, then you realize that this kind of a relationship is going to mess up so many things. And these are the kind of people that are getting involved in issues between, that is, they don't get into to marriage, they don't get into settle. So I think the vision factor is very key. Now on
and also, if I add on vision, I think it's also important to just tell people vision simplifies life. The moment you know where you're headed, you know what to go with and what to leave behind. You won't even be confused when making certain decisions. For instance, when you're trying to choose this partner, because you know where you're headed, you know who is who and who is not. You'll not have to go through this, roller coaster of thoughts and a lot of so many relationships. You know when and where and even who. So it simplifies your life and even narrows down your path into the people who you need in your particular life.
That's very perfect. As I said, according to the word of God in the book of Amos 3:3, as I said, that two people cannot move together. They cannot go together unless they agree. Now, on the how or what usually makes the relationship to fail, we'll be discussing it from two angles, or from rather two perspectives. In this case, I'll be talking about the external factors. When you talk about the external factors, that is what usually happens outside the relationship that is going to bring down the downfall of this relationship, or what usually happens outside the two people that are involved in the relationship that is going to affect the relationship. And then we got the internal factors. Now, on the internal factors, I would want us to dwell much on what usually happens between the two people. That is what is not going well, what is not doing well between the two people. So we'll be talking about the external factors and the internal factors. That is the things that happen outside the two people that are going to affect the relationship, and the things that happen within the two people that are going to affect the relationship. And on the external factors, because that is where we want to start, that is the surrounding, the environment, the people around, the things around, the issues around, and how they're going to affect this relationship. That is where we want to start, and I would wish to start with to talk a little bit on the external factors. And on the external factors, I want to start by introducing or talking about the family. And the family cannot be ignored in any kind of a relationship. Whenever you get into a relationship with the person, you need to understand that this person is coming from somewhere. There is a family that is attached to this person. This person has parents, this person has brothers and sisters, this person has uncles, this person has cousins and different other people within their line. So these people, whenever people get into a relationship, if you are not careful, we have noted that families have gotten involved into relationships, and they have been they have played a very major role in the downfall of some of these relationships, whereby you find that somebody gets into a relationship, and then in that relationship you find that there is so much that happens in this family, and the moment you introduce the issues of this family, they end up they tend to bring the relationship down, and they still on the issues of the family, you realize that when people are in a relationship, you are coming up with your own family, or rather you are planning to introduce your own family. You are planning to put up your own family through whatever that is going to happen later. But now it happens where there are people that have a voice from your family, that have a voice in your relationship. And that's why we usually talk about that. It is important to understand what does your family advocate for. Wanapenda watu wanakaa namna gani, what do they prefer? What kind of people do they prefer? What kind of people do they like walking around with? Like where I come from, you will hear people talking of this clan is not miscible with this other clan because of things that happened so many years ago. And without that kind of information, you'll find that you get involved in that kind of a relationship, or you get into that kind of clan. So to be able to avoid that, it is important to study your family. And then secondly, I would also wish to talk about the church factor, or the religious factor. And on the religious factor, this is where you realize that the people get into a relationship without discussing your religion. You don't, you are in a relationship, but you do not talk about your religious background. You do not discuss anything of where you fellowship. And religion is a very strong factor in a relationship, basically in a marriage. People that are headed a relationship that is headed to marriage, you realize that once people get involved, when people start coming together in a relationship, it is important to know the religious background of a person. And sometimes people have gotten into relationships, then wakiwa pale kwa relationship, you realize that you decide to introduce a person to your religion. Then anaambiwa where's your mtu wa hiyo kanisa? Hiyo kanisa, in fact, they belong to a different faith altogether. And that's why it is important to understand our religious
or even you find yourself very, very against some things they do. For instance,
exactly, yeah.
You never really understood some practices until you get close to them and you realize they do some things at the wee hours of the night because that is what the religion dictates. That is, of course, a send off even to you, as an individual.
Yeah. So I think that is very key on religion, and you should be very careful. Actually, you should be able to understand what does your religion advocate for. If you are a Christian, you want to get married to a Muslim. Do you know what Muslims believe? Do you understand what revolves around their faith, so that now you don't have issues, because you have had issues of people that are in a relationship, lakini akaambiwa na pastor, huyo msichana wachana na yeye, na ukataa kuachana na yeye, hiyo ndoa hakuna mahali inaenda. And as we keep on saying here, it is better a broken relationship than a broken marriage. But now we are getting much deeper. Even that relationship, it should not come to an end.
Yeah, because religion plays a very major role in terms of how you view life, how you make decisions. So if you have very, very different practices, the two of you, there is high chances disunity is going to be part of that relationship. You will never agree in basic things because I believe this and you believe this.
Walisema kuna siku kwa ile nyumba yenu mkiwa wawili unga inakosekana. So mnakula nini? Mnakula maombi. Ile siku unga haipatikani, mumeamua sasa leo wacha tuombe sasa ndio tuweze kulala. Okay, it gets to a point where you realize that the religion is a very major factor. Now, like then I usually talk about in our country we have a tribal factor. And on tribal factor ni mahali umekuja ukapendana na mtu na unjui what they believe in their tribe. You don't know where this person comes from. Umekutana Nairobi, umekutana Mombasa, umekutana Nakuru, umekutana Meru, but there are so many other things you don't know about them. So the moment you get into a relationship, you realize that there are so many things that revolves around this tribe that you cannot entertain, and you find that you cannot move on with this relationship. It's always important to know, to get to a bit of a tribal background of a person, so that if you are going to move on with them, if you're going to to plan to or think of settling with them, at least you have a lot of information about what happens in their tribe. Because our tribes, Wanasema mwacha mila ni mtumwa. And you realize that especially with our tribes, this tribe believes this. We have more than 42 in our country, and you realize that every tribe, there is something that they believe in terms of raising up their children, in terms of a marriage, in terms of dowries, in terms of hata wengine wamependana, si ile siku ya dowry tu unakuja unasomewa vitu unasema badala ya kutoa hiyo dowry wacha niende ninunue tu ka prom box alafu nijipange maisha iendelee tu. You see, there are so many things that you need to study about a person. There are even some tribes that have very funny beliefs on issues of the children. So kama haukuwa unajua, then you have gotten into this a kind of a relationship. Then ikifika ile siku unaanza kucomplain, but now you did not take time. And that's why we need to people to understand, get to some get some form of tribal background of a person, so that you can be able to, and then you study something about that tribe, and you can also get to know so much about from the person, so that you don't get into something that will that will make the relationship fail.
So I think on external factors, and we can only add other few like friendship and career.
Friendships.
Friendship, there are very very many reasons why friends can even interfere with our relationship. Some of us we have actually in this generation people appraise friends more than their partners. Unasikianga wakisema mimi niko na best friend na niko na boyfriend, na huyo best friend ananijua kushinda boyfriend. Let me tell you, that is one of the worst decisions you can make. If you really want to enjoy a relationship, allow your partner to be the most intimate partner within, who can access the most inner part of who you are. Do not allow other people to come in between, because the moment you allow minds to come, people have different ways of thinking, and the way he thinks is not the way you think. So you begin allowing their expectations and their what they think to ruin what happens in your relationship. Because some people will tell you, okay, sometimes you even come with a boyfriend and they're telling him, we don't like dark people. So he's too dark for you. He's too short.
This one is very slim, 1 GB.
You're the only one who understands why you really found that person to be the person you want to be.
Your taste.
Yes, and there's no need for you to really start listening to other outside voices. You can only have an opinion when it comes to you want to actually be mentored, and the best way is to look for people who are way ahead of you. Your peers don't see as far as those people can see. You can only inform them, and in case there is any issue, you can also involve them. But it's not good for you to allow them to be the ones to give you direction. 100%. Friends are important. They help you see even moments where you're not able to see things practically, but be very firm with your stand. Don't allow them to toss you here and about because of their ideas. Yes, and allow your partner to be your best friend. Don't have compartments. A relationship should be wholly in itself and very well secured, and boundaries should be dictated. People should not come inside. Even your family, as we've said. If your family is not supposed to come inside, who are your friends? So and career as well. We can also talk of career, because of course career is one major important thing. We all need, we all have studied, and because we have dreams, some of these things can cause us to go far apart from our partners. For instance, maybe I've been studying, then I got a scholarship. And I am going to study abroad as I prepare for certain kind of works. Or rather, I am working here and I've been told to go abroad, or even go work in Mandera, and we've been in Nairobi. Those are very critical moments where when you start weighing the situations, you realize you just have to either decide whether it's the job or the relationship. And most times relationships suffer because you look at restarting again becomes so difficult.
Hapo kwa career wewe. Umeangukia scholarship majuu na relationship ilikuwa climax.
And you have applied it for 5 years.
Unasema wacha kwa relationship kasimame kwanza.
So sometimes it happens, and it's very very tricky in such situations. So we're talking about external factors. Those are basically the main, and there are so many others, but those are the main ones. We're not saying that they are not supposed, they are very bad, but we're trying to tell you that be keen, these external factors are there. Like, look into them before you get into a serious relationship. Do not ignore them. Then see where now you keep on building your relationship from the knowledge of these things. And when they come, it is easy for you to handle them because you are aware. Yeah, so we can quickly move to internal factors and handle them as quickly as we can. Yes.
On internal factors, no, as we were doing the external factors, okay, there are still so many other things that are still attached on the external factors, but they are still internal. And on internal factors, I wish to I'll probably talk about the standards, the standards. That is the comparison on other people's standards, whereby you want your relationship to be like so and so. You know, you want to be visiting where so and so face it. You know, you should not compare your relationship, or you should not set the standards of your relationship with comparison with others. That is with other people. Friends are good, and you know they are important in life, but it is good to understand that people cannot be at the same level. Or okay, people, you may be friends, but you are not at the same level. So people should be careful on the standards of the relationship. So don't struggle to put or to walk in the standards of others. That is living a life that you cannot afford. You know, doing things that you cannot be able to afford, so that now you can put your relationship the level of your friends, the level of other people that you have seen. Just make sure that you take your relationship the level it belongs. Don't struggle too much, you know, to put it into levels that probably are not affordable. And then still on the standards factor, I usually talk about the pinch. You know, when people are in a relationship, you need to check on the speed that people are moving in, the pinch that people are in. There are people that in a relationship, you realize that this one is taking this direction, but the other person is not even into what is being done, into what is being said, into what is you know, getting involved in this relationship. You realize that there are a number of people that will never move in the same page. The number of people that will never, you know, agree on one thing. So you need to check on the things that you are agreeing on, the things that you are doing together, so that you can be able to tell whether this relationship is either ended somewhere, or you just wasting some time there. Still on the same, I talk about secrets. But we've mentioned time again and again about the privacy and secrecy. We have people that have very deep secrets zenye unaficha, you don't want the other person to know, na ile siku anakuja kujua unapata zinafanya mnaachana. There are people that drink but they pretend yeye akunywangi, aguzangi kitu, yeye ni wa Del Monte, kumbe si wa Del Monte, ni wa Guinness. But sasa hataki yule mtu mwingine ajue, you see, na ile siku anajua, you find that this relationship cannot stand, because this person probably hakutaka mtu wa Guinness, alitaka mtu wa Del Monte. So you have been pretending when you are Del Monte, lakini wewe si wa Del Monte. There are even people that are in so many things. There are people that spend like especially nowadays with gambling, betting. Somebody is into deep, you know, is so deep into this, but the other person is not aware. So unapata ana spend and use all they have, you know, but the other person is not aware. So it is important, some of these secrets. And still on secret, I also talk about okay, on secret I talk about health factors. It is important. Kuna watu wako na, somebody is diabetic, somebody is asthmatic. It's important to share with the other person. Mwambie mimi ninakuaga hivi. Unaona? I'm like this and this and this. Si mambo ya mtu wakati mnakuja kuana ndio anashtukia ya kumbe wewe kuna kakitu unatembeanga nako kakiwa kwa mfuko, because you have these and these health problems. So it is important to share some of these. People feel that these ones are secrets. You know, some cases you'll find that a lady akona mtoto, unaona, lakini hataki kusema. Anamwambia tukifika nyumbani, anaambia mamake, tukifika nyumbani uambie mtoto aniite auntie, unaona, auntie Waharia. Anaitwa auntie Waharia, kumbe si auntie Waharia, ni auntie ni mama ya mtoto. You know, anataka kufunikia yule jamaa. So by the time jamaa anakuja kuona, kumbe nimeanza game ikiwa katikati, nimeanza nikiwa na mtoto mmoja. But now he was not aware. It is important, it is important to, you know, to reveal some of these secrets. If somebody will go with it, akubali. Kama hataki akatae mapema. Other than taking a whole journey, walking for several miles, then you realize that we are not compatible because of some secrets that were not revealed.
Yes, and because of time, we would love to wrap them up very quickly. And of course, relationships is always very wide. We can never exhaust them completely. And we all know, and we always say, you always know it when you see it. These things and these problems come up. and you can always tell when there is something wrong in that relationship. For as we finish up, and as you prepare to probably do the last points, I would want to be very, very particular with some very few foundational aspects that personally I feel, even as you prepare for relationships and even as you prepare for marriage, are very important. One of the most compelling reasons why relationships fail is because people do not actually love themselves. We are talking about those things that happen in relationships, but there are things that are hidden, far hidden, that we don't know. They affect how we relate with somebody else. You can never give something you don't have. If you don't have genuine love for yourself, you will never be able to love somebody healthily. We're not talking about selfish love. We're talking about the healthy love that you can have for yourself, such that you understand the standards for your life. You don't settle for anything, and you know who is fit for you, because I cannot expose myself to some kind of conditions. I respect myself enough to be able to find the right person to do this life with. So people are busy running away from singlehood. They think that marriage is the goal. When they begin, growing and seeing age catching up with them, they think going to the altar is the goal. Let me tell you, the altar is not marriage, it's fulfillment. The moment you get fulfilled in this life, that is the best thing. And if marriage can help you get fulfillment, then go for it. But the goal should never be marriage. Marriage is a means to where you want to go, but not the destination. Remember that clearly. And remember that even if you're not happy right now as a single person, you will never be happy even when you get married. That's why we are trying to tell you, be happy with yourself and be happy with your singlehood. Invest in yourself so deeply that when you get into that relationship one day, you can be of a positive addition to it. Not somebody who is toxic and trying to subtract a lot from it. You will never it's not that you will not be happy, but you can never be constantly happy if you're not the main source. But if you're expecting people to make you happy, you will always be disappointed. Even if you meet the right person, that will not make you happy. The more happier you are, the higher the chances you'll actually meet the right person. So let it stick to your mind that at this particular moment, when if you don't love yourself well enough, even in a relationship, you will always have issues with that person because of not being able to give love the way it's supposed to be given, as you understand the meaning of love. Yes. And I think also the other cause of relationships to break could be people not being able to love each other. And it's true, people don't know they don't love each other. They only think love is the emotional connection between the two of you. And actually, people are only in love with the idea of marriage and love, not in love with the right person. So they go getting anyone because they feel like one day I have to be in a situation where I have a partner, I have children, I have the social class of a family and all those things. That is what many people actually don't understand, and you don't even realize you have that idea in your mind. So you realize that people who have even ultimatums, they reach certain ages and they are like, I need somebody. Maybe I was supposed to be married by the age of 28. So 28 and a half, I pick anyone because I'm in love with the idea of love and not in love with the idea of getting that person who is right for me. So when you get into marriage and reality dawns and you realize love is something else, then relationships even begin to fail. And even leave alone marriage, when you're even in the journey to that and you try to build your relationship, you realize in the middle that she was not or he was not the right person. So it's important to be very, very patient within the process and begin to look at the main thing, that is focusing on, as we began, vision, and then knowing who is right for that vision, and then building those two things as you finish up. So I think I can give Prince to conclude as we wrap up.
All right. You mentioned something about age, and that is very key, because especially with this generation, you get to a certain age, you get a lot of people are out there telling you, asking you, unangoja nini, unapata mtu lini, unatuletea mtu lini, that kind of a language. But basically, relationship is a process. And don't engage in this process if you are not ready. And as we keep on saying, is that in the process of a relationship, don't fear. You know, people get into a relationship, then unaona, I have put so much into this relationship, I cannot break. So you start, tunasema, you fear being alone. Unajaribu kuimagine mimi bila mtu, mpaka unaanza kutafuta mwingine wa kushikilia before uache huyu. Yani ndio uache kama umeshika mwingine. You know, that is one of the issues that I've noted with young people, and it is seriously affecting relationships. And some of them wanaamua, hapana, mimi hata nikifanywa nini sitoki na sitoki, nitakaa pale. Yani anakwama tu, hata ikifanyika nini anasema huyu tunaenda na yeye mpaka mwisho. Mimi siwezi jiwaste, niko na yeye mpaka mwisho. But I want to believe that it is possible. We are praying for young people, and they'll make it, because a relationship is possible, and a good relationship, rather a healthy relationship, is possible. People can go through this process and make it very well, and make fewer mistakes than they have seen others make. It's possible.
Very possible. And understand the meaning of relationships, know what is expected of you, also know the differences between a man and a woman. Don't go there expecting that woman to behave like a man and that man to behave like a woman. There are very, very, very many differences. For instance, when a man needs acceptance, a lady needs attention. When a woman needs romance, a man needs respect. When a woman is a talker, a man is a thinker. We are all different. But the only thing that we make a difference in that gap is the Holy Spirit. Go into that relationship with God and the Holy Spirit inside of you, such that it can help you be able to come to the level of understanding the other side of you. Remember one thing, this person was your rib, meaning your party enye ilitolewa kwako, you're not like that. It was taken out of you. That is something else, and that is a different, but it means it is still part of you. That means that you can still synchronize and become one and begin to even exhibit the same characteristics, and that is only possible by the help of the Holy Spirit. So as we conclude, and as we've said about the need of the Holy Spirit, there is no relationship that can ever stand without God and without the Holy Spirit. So if you're using your energy to keep any relationship, it is very, very unlikely for that relationship to survive a long period. So please seek God, seek the Holy Spirit, who is our helper, because one thing, if you have the Holy Spirit, you have help within you, and you will never ever fail. Thank you very much for joining us today. We are so glad to have you guys with us, and we are sure we'll keep on discussing as we continue to await your engagements, your questions, your comments, as you continue to help us know where we need to focus on. And most importantly, to remind you that our fellow host, who has not been with us for some time, is still I'm very happy to be part of the team, and says a big hi to all of you, and is very, very, very ready to be with us in the next show. Thank you for joining us tonight. Have a good one.